Kingsmen! First off, before I get into my review of Kingsman, let me just explain that other review you just saw. For those of you who don't know, I'm a huge fan of Doug Walker. And one thing Doug Walker does whenever he reviews a movie is he does a bum review, where he has this bum come out and talk about how amazing the film was, and all the while, like, putting a bit of his own opinion in there, and then he'll, like, say what he actually thought of the movie. And I want to do something similar to that, but different. So I thought to myself, okay, if Doug's this character he plays is very positive, upbeat, and energetic, I want to do something very angry, cynical. So I'm probably going to try and do that for a lot of the films I see now. So, which, again, there's going to be a bit of my opinion there, but it's mostly just going to be me falling for the top. So please don't take that seriously. Please don't actually take that as what I actually thought. That's just me trying to entertain you guys. So, with that bit of housekeeping out of the way, you guys probably want to know what I actually thought of the film. Did I actually hate it as much as the Angry Film Geek? Well, sort of. I mean, I was interested in this film, but I wasn't too looking forward to it. Like, when I saw the trailer for the first time I saw the trailer for this movie was in front of The Hobbit, and it intrigued me. I thought it looks kind of fun, it looks kind of entertaining, but I didn't think it was going to be anything special. And I haven't read the comics, and while I found them entertaining, I didn't think it was like a great story or anything. It wasn't particularly funny, interesting, and it did have a lot of cliches. But I kept hearing it was a good film, and I really didn't have any interest in seeing any stuff out. Like, you already know from my thoughts going into videos that I was not looking forward to Chappie, and I didn't have any interest in Cinderella. Like, even though I hear it's not that bad, I still didn't have any interest, and I don't want to support Disney and give them money. Plus, like, when I went there were so many families and little girls who were clearly there to see Cinderella, which had 2 screens, but I'm going to hate myself. Anyway, so I went to go see Kingsman, and there was a good chunk of the movie, particularly in the first act, when I thought it was going to be, like, very generic cliche. Kind of like what I said in the Film Geek review. Like, it's a lot of stuff you've seen before. It's, again, basically Harry Potter. Kid who lives unpleasant life, gets picked up by this guy who knew his father, who takes him to where his father went to school, and he becomes a hero. And during this first act, I was saying, oh no, this is going to be a terrible film. But then it got really fun, and I probably should say what the story is. It's basically about this spy agency who's trying to stop this villain, played by Samuel L. Jackson. He's like trying to like do something evil. I won't ruin his plan for you, because it's pretty funny, and actually kind of has a valid point to it. But yeah, but it gets really fun. Like, once we get to, like, him training to become a spy, it becomes fun. And there are a lot of really creative, like, things he has to do. Like, there's all these, like, crazy training segments, which on one end, along with being fun and entertaining, are actually stuff where it's like, yeah, I mean, this actually makes sense for a secret agent to have to do this. And along the way, it's making all these really funny jokes, like, some of which are just straight up fun humor. Other times, it is, like, mocking cliches and spy movies. Specifically, James Bond, they poke fun at a lot. And I've only seen 2 Bond films, but a lot of the stuff I've seen here is very similar to Bond, from what I know about it. And they do mock, like, this one Bond. Well, it's not limited to James Bond, but a lot of movies tend to use this cliche. And sorry, I'm, like, really tired. It's hard to think, baby. But there's this one cliche, I hate it, and I love the fact that the movie addresses it and just does something really clever with it. And I'm glad, like, not since Austin Powers have I seen this cliche acknowledged and handled the way it is. But yeah, there's, like, tons of funny jokes like this. Like, one joke even got applause from, like, the audience. And they are, I don't want to ruin the gags here for you, but if you're worried that the trailer gave away all the really good gags, don't. There are a handful of really funny scenes that aren't in the trailer. So kudos to the filmmakers for not showing everything. And I mean, okay, they do show, like, one of the final scenes of the movie, but again, it doesn't, like, break the movie. This isn't like Amazing Spider-Man 2 where they showed the final shot and it's just completely killed it. But yeah, like, and I still remember the jokes. Like, sometimes when I walk off a movie, I don't remember the jokes, but I'm still remembering the jokes. I still find them funny. And Yeah, they're still a blast. The characters, again, like I said before, they are very cliche. Like, a lot of them are very generic. I mean, the acting's really good all around. Don't get me wrong, but again, a lot of these characters are stuff we've seen before. We're never. There's some characters, specifically the kid, this girl, who's also training to become a Kingsman with him, who surprisingly it is not the love interest, and I'm not giving too much away. That she's not that important to the plot, but she wasn't really developed enough. I never really cared about her. I don't even remember her name. And yeah, Colin Firth was good, and all the British people with their British accents are good. But kind of like a Bond villain or a Bond film or a Disney film, the villain was a lot of fun. Samuel Jackson was really good as the villain. He was just fun. He was over the top. He had this really entertaining list. Like, it was really good use of Samuel Jackson. Like, it wasn't just we're gonna slap his name on the poster just to get people in. I mean, I feel like Colin Firth and Michael Caine, while they deliver freaking amazing British accents, again, I don't feel like anything specifically called for them to be in the film. You could cast anyone, but Samuel Jackson just was great. Like, fun, over the top, every single second on screen, it was just good time. And he also has this assistant, which, like I said before, in the Geek Review, she's very similar to the T-1000 from Terminator 2, in that she has these really sharp, pointy things, but they're on her legs. And, I mean, I would write it off as, okay, it's cliche, it's lazy, they're just ripping something off. But it was fun. Like, they did a really good job of making her a fun villain. And visually, I mean, again, there's nothing really that special about the way this film is filmed or the score. I mean, it works, but nothing spectacular. But the action's really fun. Like, there are points when I was like, okay, it's a little too cartoony, but it had this sense of fun. And that's why I think Matthew Vaughn is really good with as a director, both in this and X-Men. I haven't seen, like, Kick-Ass or whatever else he's done. I probably should. But the action was really fun. I mean, it might turn some people off of how this is just a big, dumb action movie, but here's the thing. If it's fun and I'm having a good time, I'm okay with it. If it's like Transformers, where it's just, like, loud, shaky, hot, I'm not going to care. But if you can make it fun and entertaining, like Pacific Rim or Guardians of the Galaxy, I won't care. It's fun. It's really over the top. I'm glad this movie, like, just totally went for the R rating. I mean, they didn't, like, care that they were going to, like, lose some people, because I feel like that's part of why the film isn't doing that well. Addition with competition, it's the fact that it's rated R. But I'm glad they went all the way, because some of the violence is really fun. Reminds me a lot of Tarantino, just how bloody it is. Like, there are just so many violent scenes, and there is, like, one scene, I won't give it away, other than that it involves Colin Firth, and no, it's not, like, the first scene. Because there's, like, a couple fun action scenes. It's not the first one. It's, like, one of the it's this really big action scene. If you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about, but it was just a blast. And again, if you can just make the action fun, I'm okay with it. And it was so much fun in this film. I'm trying to think, as far as stuff I didn't like, again, it does take a little while to get going. Like, the first act, like the first 30 to 40 minutes of the film or so, it's not really, I didn't find it that interesting. Like, and this isn't just Act 1 obligatory stuff. This is, like, it just taking a while to get going, slow, and just giving us a lot of stuff we've seen before. And again, along with, like, characters being cliche and not that interesting, and the violence being that goofy, I feel like the film was a little too long. Like, I felt like it's because this film's almost 2 hours, and I didn't feel like it needed to be that long. Like, I feel like maybe it could have trimmed down the first act, which isn't that interesting, or I would say trim down the climax, but I was having, because it does go on for a little longer than I thought it would, or you think it should. But it was fun, and I was with it, and I was glad to be invested in the world of Kingsman for as long as I did, so I don't really care. So yeah, I'd recommend going to see this movie. It's fun, it's a good time, this isn't like going to be like the best movie of the year or anything. This isn't like the Lego Movie, that awesome, wonderful, amazing film that came out in February. I mean, I haven't seen what the critics thought yet, but go ahead and see. But it was fun. It was a good time at the movies, and that's all I was looking for. Like, there are a lot of films out there right now that I'm not looking forward to seeing again, like Chappie or Cinderella, or you have the Divergent film sequel coming out. But the fact of the matter is that we got something fun. And, if you're into like dumb, fun action movies, I'd recommend checking this out. But if you aren't into stuff like that, I wouldn't recommend it because you're probably going to be turned off by just how over the top and goofy and just ridiculous this film could get. But again, if you're one of those people who likes that, I'd recommend going to check it out. Just, if you've read the comics, just keep an open mind. They're not going to follow it very strictly. It's a very loose adaptation. I mean, they're like various story beats and stuff that are borrowed, but it's, again, it's different. So keep that in mind. I mean, I did. I really didn't expect them to adapt it all the way, so I wasn't like, this isn't like Game of Thrones where I'm going to be super nitpicky about all the changes. I mean, there are certain training elements of the comics that I kind of liked. Like, you know, in the comics, like the kid's father is alive. And there's this really fun training sequence where he gets like thrown into the middle of some like foreign country and he has to find his way back in 24 hours. But maybe that's the lead scene, but it was still fun. And now I'm going to go into the trailers. So first off, my written review is going to be in the description. There's going to be a link to it in the description below. So if you want a more in-depth review, I mean, it's more or less going to be the same thing I'm saying here as always, but maybe just a bit more depth. But now I'm going to go into the trailers, so if you really don't care about that, you can just tune out right now. But if not, I'm going to go into it. First off, let me just say that there weren't as many trailers as they normally are. I mean, the AMC theater I go to, usually I'll get like 20, 30 minutes worth of trailers, or at least it'll feel like that. This one I only got like, half the trailers I normally do. I only got like, let's see, let me count. I'm reading off an outline just so you know. I only got like 6 trailers. I usually get like 8 or 9. But yeah, I'm just gonna go through them real quick. I got the trailer for Hitman 47. I mean, I got a fair mix of trailers. I mean, most of them were action films, of course, because Kingsman's an action film. And sorry if I'm rubbing my head, but I'm a little tired, and I usually do that when I'm tired. But anyway, so Hitman 47. I haven't played any of the video games. I think that's what it's based off of, and visually it looks interesting. I mean, like, the instant I looked at it, I'm like, that's Hitman. I mean, this isn't like Last Airbender or Percy Jackson where it's like, what the fuck am I watching? Like, it looks like Hitman. And it could be fun. I mean, it might satisfy fans of the series. I mean, or it just could be a giant cash grab ripoff. But, you know, at least the marketing makes it look fun. And at least it was memorable. Unlike the other film trailer I got for Gunman by Sean Penn. Starring Sean Penn from the director of Taken, which I have yet to see. But here's a testament to how bad it is. I remember every single trailer I saw, but I cannot recall a single thing about this one. It was just a generic action trailer. Nothing special. I mean, all the others I at least kind of remember, like, elements of it. But this one, I don't. And it's really sad because I'm probably going to go see it this weekend. Like, there's like this class I have to go to where I have to go see and review specific movies. Which, again, is fun, except the movies I keep getting sent to are films that aren't exactly high on my list. Again, I'll probably do a my thoughts going into video on it, since I am going to probably go see it. So, I mean, all the other trailers are memorable and have some sort of interesting thing. Even if they're going to suck, they at least made me remember them. But got nothing on Gunman. Man from U.N.C.L.E. looks fun, mildly entertaining. I doubt it'll be anything special, but it looks fun. It's a nice period piece. I think it was set in Britain. I mean, it would make sense to get the Kingsman crowd. Next up, we have, like, probably the best trailer of the whole thing, just because of how, like, this is going to take away the award for Best Worst Horror Movie. It's Unfriended. It's basically like a found footage slasher film where basically, like, people are dying on Skype, like, they're talking to each other and they're dying, and, like, the Skype is haunted and it's killing them, and, like, the whole film looks like it's gonna be done through, like, through, like, YouTube videos, Skype, and all other kinds of social media, which, on one hand, that's really stupid. Like, just saying it out loud and watching the trailer, it looked really stupid, and it also just looks like another generic found footage movie and also a Paranormal Activity ripoff, and now we're just seeing it through, like, this sort of camera. But on the other end, you know, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before, and it could be creative, but then again, from what I hear, Ouija board, which seemed like a creative idea, just wound up being a really stupid, terrible horror movie, at least from what I hear. So, I'm not into horror films, but if you are a horror film fan, you'll have to check out that film and let me know how it is. I'm really curious to... But that looks so fucking stupid. And also, I got Mall Cop 2 again. Nothing really new to say about it. I mean, it's probably won't be that great. I still need to see the first one, but you know, it looks like it's gonna suck all the way. It's gonna totally embrace just how stupid it is. And I also, lastly, I got the trailer again for the Fantastic Four reboot, which, I mean, I already talked about it in depth for I already talked about that trailer. I'm not gonna go into depth. Talk about it again. You can check out my video if you want to see what I thought of it. I'll just say it's really, in comparison to the other superhero films coming out this year, it's really dark and brooding, and I'm worried it's going to be this year's Man of Steel, where it's just going to be a whole lot of enough and a whole lot of depressing. But who knows? Maybe it'll actually surprise me and be good. And that's all I have to say about the trailers and the film I saw. Please leave your thoughts on Kingsman or the trailers in the comments below. Especially let me know what you think of Unfriended, because that looks so stupid. And as always, like, dislike, subscribe, and this is JStar60, and I hope you guys have a great Pi Day. Yeah, I mean, does anyone actually celebrate that? I mean, I digress. Anyway, take care.